the biggest little show this side of the quadrant, 11 years in, and still trying to figure this out. And we have no idea what we're doing. Greetings, everyone. Bill Smith here alongside that way, the Danimal Dan Davidson for a special edition of Trek Geeks, Dan.
Hey, it's good to see you, buddy. Yeah. Um, I'm excited to have this little discussion before we show everyone um, the awesome time that we had in interviewing an Oscar nominated actor, Golden Globe
Two-time Oscar
winner,
nominated
Emmy.
actor.
I mean, I could go through the list again. You're going to see the
Yeah.
list. You're going to hear the list in a minute. But Paul Giamatti was so gracious to join us this past weekend for our annual, it seems it has become, Trek Talks Telethon, Trek Talks 5. He was the last big event of the evening. We had a fantastic time talking to him, and we're going to share that here this weekend. Can't wait. Woo!
Yeah, it really was. Well, we didn't quite know what to expect. I mean, I don't think we've ever really talked with somebody who has been at this level of Hollywood or acting. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously our Star Trek icons are different. You know, they we're used to talking to them. We see them at conventions. We have this familiarity with them.
Mhm.
But Paul was really kind of an unknown quantity to us. We've only ever seen him on screen, you know, in
Yeah.
things in amazing projects. Like you said, everything from, you know, Oscar and Golden Globe and Emmy nominated and awarded things to now Star Trek. So he turned out to be one of the most delightful people we truly have ever talked to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of the reason is that even though he's at this superstardom level, you know, the name recognition, he's been in so many great films. He is a down to earth, regular person who is as big a fan of this franchise as we are. And so many listeners and other fans. It's so great to have someone of such a stature as Paul to understand the fandom, to love it as much as we do, and to now be forever etched as part of that franchise. It's just incredible to think about. And as you can tell in the discussion, he literally says, if I don't ever work again, that's fine because I've been in Star Trek. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Paul was so excited to participate and help with Trek Talks that we actually had to record this about 6 weeks ago.
Right.
He had a small gap in his schedule where he wouldn't be working. He knew he was purposefully going to be between gigs and said, I can do it anytime in this window. Other than that, I'm going to be working and I can't guarantee.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, let's do it tomorrow then when we got his email message. And that's kind of how this all came together.
Absolutely.
And he couldn't, I'm stammering over the words because it's still kind of unbelievable to me. He kept on thanking us
I know.
for allowing him to participate, and it's like, uh, uh, we're just the dudes talking to you, 2 idiots with microphones. Thank you
Right.
for giving us your time because we know you're busy, you know?
Very busy, and that's one of the things that's always been important. I mean, these people are, they're famous, they're
Yeah.
busy, they got a lot of things going on, but it's so refreshing. And the vast majority of Star Trek stars that we've talked to over the years are just as gracious and wonderful as Paul is. But there are people that have reputations for, not, you're gonna have to pay me to come on your show, or you have to do this, or you got to go through my assistant, this, that, and the other thing. That didn't happen with Paul, and it just is another reason to love him as much as we do. And I can't wait to talk to him again. We already have gotten the word that we can have him on again. So I guarantee you I will be reaching out to him and have some more discussion now that we know, unfortunately, what's going on with Starfleet Academy, and the future of it. We know that he is not going to be in season 2. So theoretically, there is no more Nuspraka to actually see anymore. But that doesn't mean we're not going to talk to him about it some more. So I'm going to reach out to him again. So yeah.
Well, and who knows, we could have an in-depth discussion on Thunderpants. So, for those of you who didn't see the interview during Trek Talks 5, it's coming up in just a couple of minutes, both in audio and video form. So you'll have a chance to understand what all of that is about, and it turned out to be such a great part of the conversation.
A
Um,
great icebreaker too, man. I mean,
yeah,
that was, yeah. How can you not break the ice when you start talking about a movie like Thunderpants?
Yeah, and for those of you wondering what the heck Thunderpants is, it's not anything risque. It's about a kid with the world's strongest farts. It's a legit movie. You can look it up on IMDb. It really exists, and he's really in it.
Yes,
As
and
are
he loved it.
a bunch of
Yeah,
amazing actors. It's not just Paul. It's like a
right.
who's who of British film to some extent.
Yeah,
This is all being done in support of Trek Talks, which was this past weekend. And you can still donate to Trek
yes.
Talks. You'll see here on the screen that so far we've raised $86,801 through 292 donors. This includes, Dan, a $31,000 match from Rod Roddenberry.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what he has done for Trek Talk since we started this. He's very much, he's such a wonderful guy to talk to. We've had the opportunity to meet him a couple times in person. He's been great. We've had him on the show for several years now, and he always does a giant contribution and will not do that contribution until the fans, the people watching, hit a certain threshold. Every year we've hit the threshold, and he will then match that. So that happened quite early, actually. I think in this year's telethon we had a great turnout, even though it was on a No King's Day, with eight
Yeah.
9 million people marching throughout the day. We still had an incredible turnout. We were able to raise that money plus a lot more. So yeah, 86 grand plus. There's probably more coming in. You can donate anytime from now until the end of the internet, which theoretically will never happen. So it's always going to be out there for you to donate. And we encourage you to do so. And I think you're going to want to after you watch this great discussion with Paul that we had.
Yeah. So you can donate by going to givebutter.com/Trek Talks 5, by visiting trektalks.net and clicking on the donate now button, or by texting the word Trek to 53555. That'll all take you to the secure portal where you can make your donation directly to the Hollywood Food Coalition.
Mm-hmm.
All this money goes straight to them, to help them in their amazing work that they do across the greater Los Angeles area. So
Absolutely.
stay right there. And coming up next, Mr. Paul Giamatti. And welcome back to Trek Talks, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We want to remind you that to donate securely and directly to the Hollywood Food Coalition, you can scan that QR code that's on your screen intermittently. You can go to givebutter.com/Trek Talks 5, or you can use your cell phone and text the word Trek to 53555. Remember, those small dollar donations are hugely important in a campaign like this. And we're grateful for anything you can do, including if it's spreading the word. Dan, we have a special guest with us on screen.
Hello.
Yeah, we kind of do. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it, and thank you for those great words about the Hollywood Food Coalition. So, anybody who knows me knows that I love the villains: Thanos, Voldemort, Vader, and of course my all-time favorite, Gul Dukat. So when we heard that our next guest was cast as the main villain for Starfleet Academy, I was already more than excited. Not only is his character freaking awesome, his dialogue with the Chancellor is amazingly captivating, and this actor is quickly climbing the charts as one of my favorite Trek bad guys. And we've only seen him a couple of times so far. So, in addition to Starfleet Academy, this actor is so incredibly accomplished. He's a two-time Oscar nominee. He's won Golden Globes, Emmy Awards, Screen Actors Guild Awards, Critics' Choice Awards, goes on and on and on. His ability to command just about every scene he's in shows just how good he is at his craft, and the fact that he is a die-hard and dedicated Star Trek fan with Deep Space Nine as his favorite, just like Bill and I, is just one out of about a billion reasons why we love everything he does. Bill and I are so honored and so privileged to welcome Nus Braca himself, the incredible Paul Giamatti, to the Trek Talks telethon. And Paul, first of all, thanks and welcome. And second, dude, you're on freaking Star Trek.
That's exactly the thing, man. I'm on Star Trek. I mean, if that's all I needed. I just needed to be on. If I'd been on for 13 seconds on an episode, that would have been enough for me. So it's like, yeah, man, I got to be on Star Trek, which still blows my mind.
Paul,
Unbelievable.
I got to tell you that, when I told my wife I was talking to you today, she had two reactions. One was, are you kidding? I said, no, I'm not kidding. And she's like, they're letting him talk to you two? And I said, ultimately, we will be the dumbest people on this telethon today. And Paul is incredibly smart. So don't
No,
hold that against us.
no, please. No, I definitely am not raising the bar intellect. Really not. I also always want to make sure to point, I'm a huge lover. I'm a lifelong fan, but I am not encyclopedic
That's
in my
okay.
always want to be like, oh God, I just want to be sure because something will come at me and I will not know the answer and I'll be embarrassed. And
We're not going to
No
test you
problem.
today for sure.
good,
The one
good.
thing I am going to ask you about, I mean, I could ask you about any one of the amazing films you've been in. I could
Mhm.
ask you about, John Adams, because it's probably one of my favorite miniseries of all time. But Paul, I want to ask you about a movie my wife gifted me several years ago called Thunderpants, about a
Ah,
young boy with the strongest farts in the world that could ultimately propel people into space. Um, Man, I never thought I'd be asking you this question, but how did that come about?
she gifted you with that?
She did.
What did she find a DVD of that? Where'd she find
She
that?
did on Amazon, actually.
Wow. Okay, there can't be a whole lot of those in circulation. I love that movie. I'm not kidding you. It's one of my favorite things I think I've ever done. It just came to me through normal channels. This is what, like 25 years ago at least.
Easily, easily.
Yeah, something like that. And it's a terrific movie, actually. I mean, did you watch it? Did you
Yeah,
enjoy it?
absolutely, we did. We get these things, and usually we'll pour a glass of wine or maybe an old fashioned, and we'll drink them and decide whether we love them ironically or unironically. This one very much unironically.
Yeah, good.
It's a movie
Good.
with great heart and
Yes.
great fart.
Yes. Yes, indeed. I say it's the Moby Dick of fart movie. You get every possible version of a fart joke in that movie. They do every
Yeah,
possible iteration of a fart joke in that movie that you could do. Um, I love that movie. It's also a really well-made movie,
yeah,
actually.
it
It's
is.
an extremely well-made movie. And I loved making it. And it's also one of the movies that I think of, it's a great example of stretching a dollar. Because
Yeah,
what they do with the effects and stuff, all of this like practical stuff that they do, there's some CGI stuff in it, but they do all this wonderful practical stuff. And it was really, I loved it. I had a total blast. I also got to work with the great Ned Beatty, who is one of
yeah.
the character
Mhm.
actors, American character actors, which is one of the reasons I also did it. And no, I had a blast.
No
Pardon,
pun
Literally.
intended.
pardon the pun. I had a blast. I don't know whatever happened to the young man who plays the farting kid, but Rupert Grint is in it when
Yeah,
he was
Oh,
8 or 9 years old, I think. It
Yeah.
was his first movie, maybe. I don't know.
and in fact,
But
he gets top billing on the DVD cover,
as he should.
as he should.
That there is justice in the world. I'm really happy that you enjoyed it and that you enjoyed it unironically. You actually enjoyed it for what it is.
I did.
And
I did.
also a great lineup of like extraordinary British actors in it.
Yeah,
Great British actors in it. It's really funny.
I
Stephen
was.
and play.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was really kind
looking
of
watching that.
floored by the people they arranged for that. I mean, but yeah, if you haven't seen Thunderpants, I mean, seriously, treat yourself. You will not be disappointed.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm really glad that
Oscar award nominee and Thunderpants actor.
absolutely.
That's
That's
it.
I'm always happy to plug that movie.
full circle. That's awesome. So Paul, when we first started talking, I mentioned that Bill and I's favorite series is Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine literally saved my life back in the day in 1999. And I know that you've talked about how Deep Space Nine is one of your favorites. I know that you loved what Cisco did, but I also, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I've heard you say that Gul Dukat's one of your favorite characters and that you've kind of worked a little bit of him and maybe Khan into Braca. Can you explain what you brought into that character?
I love Gul Dukat, and I think the character's fantastic over the spread of what happens with him. And
Mhm.
Mark Alamo, that actor is extraordinary. I mean, he's
Yes.
great, that guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's a really great melding of character and actor. And um, I think only insofar, I think I probably had a lot of kind of classic Star Trek villains in my head, whether
Hmm.
I was really consciously employing anything. But I do think the Gul Dukat thing that at a certain point in this, the guy likes the sound of his own voice, I think, and he likes to kind of talk, and he likes to hear himself talk, and he thinks everybody else is probably very interested in everything that comes out of his mouth. And it's like, so he's a little bit of a blowhard in that similar way, I think, to Gul Dukat,
Okay.
who kind of monologue, sort of. There's a fantastic kind of like every time and every time he did something so great, which is essential. Alex Kurtzman said to me, what he does in that is he plays the bad guy as essentially thinking of himself as the main character. I'm
Hmm.
the most important man in the room in every room I walk into. And so there was a bit of that going on. But any good villain, I think, is doing that. I'm the most
Sure.
important guy on planet Earth or whatever planet we're talking about.
In that sense, he kind of reminds me of Chang, the character that Christopher Plummer played in Star Trek Six.
Yes.
Obviously in love with the sound of his own voice, obviously in love of a good soliloquy.
Yes, that's the
Um,
other guy I was thinking about was that.
yes,
Yes, I was thinking about him too. And the pirate aspect of him. I mean, the kind of
Hmm.
Irish, kind of like yo ho ho, kind of like big over the top kind of guy I had in my mind too.
he's kind of got a bit of a Somali warlord kind of quality, and
Mhm,
that's kind of how I view him. Yeah, part space pirate, but part this character who comes from a long line of violence
mhm,
and oppression, who has this territory of space that is his,
mhm,
and dare you not cross it,
mhm,
or he's going to kill you.
mhm.
And I think that's really what brings excitement to the character.
Yeah, no, that's great. And it's a shifting territory because he's kind of a
Right.
nomad. He takes it with him. So wherever he is, don't violate my space, kind of. It's like
Hmm.
essentially everything is his space because he can go anywhere. But that's
Right.
the Somali thing actually is interesting. I mean, that's very much the sort of idea I had going on in my head. Yeah. And I thought about sort of the older kind of I don't know much about pirates, but I sort of, looked at stuff a little bit and sailors in the 19th century, and they would travel and gather all these sort of marks of where they'd been, tattoos, and
Mm.
this guy's ritually scarred on his face from who knows who, and
Hmm.
I had his ears clipped and shaped a little bit. And so he's got stuff, he's covered in everywhere he's been. He's a kind of map of everywhere he's been.
That's fascinating.
I love whatever gadgets you're wearing on your fingers, especially in episode 6. You really get to see him. You're jingling
Do
your
I
fingers
overwork
around a lot.
those? I probably work them a little hard, don't I? Yeah, that was the costumer's idea, taking off on this idea I had of sort of like, and they're these kind of they're silver and they're really heavy, and
Hmm.
they cover my fingertips, and they get even more elaborate towards the end. But in the end, there's even more of them. And again, that was sort of this idea of who knows where he picked those up, and he looks a little
Nice.
bikery with them, and a little bit kind of like,
Yeah.
and so yeah, those things were great. They were
Nice.
off my fingers when I first was using them. They had to glue them to my hands because I was overacting and gesturing like crazy, and these things would be like a bullet flying across the bridge because it was just like so they had to glue them to my hands.
That's fantastic. Now, you talked about the makeup a little bit. I've heard you talk in interviews. The first question that people ask you when you say you're on Star Trek is, "Oh, are you playing the alien? What's the makeup like? This, that, and the other thing." Well, can you tell us what it's like when you compare it to what you went through with Limbo, one of my all-time favorite characters of yours from Planet of the Apes in 2001?
It was less elaborate than that. I mean, the limbo thing. Thank you for mentioning Limbo. Limbo and Thunderpants, they don't get a lot of play. Either one of those things. So I'm happy. I'm glad to be able to. That was head to toe. I was in a bodysuit. My hands were
Yeah.
stuff. My feet were covered in stuff. My entire head and neck. But surprisingly, it only probably took about 2 hours, maybe two and a quarter,
That
maybe. to put me in the head stuff. I had a
Yep.
wonderful makeup artist named Bill Corso, who's very fast and very, very good. So now, Newsbraca took about 2 hours too, but it was
Hmm.
not anywhere near the sort of like
Yeah.
what became actually more difficult was the things on my hands and sort
Oh,
of and the kind of the costumes get more. There's a thing I'm wearing by the 10th episode that's kind of intense. And like, so that was the stuff that actually almost took more getting used to, even though,
okay.
yeah.
What's I gotta ask, and I know that a friend of ours, part of the telethon, Lori, also was curious. What's the tic-tac-toe thing carved into your head? Any idea? Is there
Oh
anything
yes,
on
no,
that
I
that you can
totally,
tell us about?
and it is explained actually. It
Oh,
will be
okay,
explained. So just wait
excellent.
around until the end. Because actually, you said a really great thing, Bill, about coming from a lineage of sort of oppression and things like that. There's stuff that's revealed about him at
Okay.
the end, towards the end, that
Excellent.
you learn more about what that thing is, why he
Oh,
has that.
Awesome.
can't wait. Um,
Yeah.
so obviously you've been interested in doing Star Trek for some time. Were you stunned when you actually got a call?
Yes. I mean, I had fantasized about doing it.
Sure.
I didn't interested implies somehow I'm going to actually manage to do it.
Fair.
And it's like, so I would fantasized about it. And I didn't actually think it would ever happen. No. And so people would ask me, what do you want to play? And I would say Klingon, meaning it, but never thinking anybody would actually ever approach me to do it. So I was very much stunned when actually they asked me.
So I can imagine it took you all of about a second and a half to say yes.
Yeah.
That's a long time, probably
It's a
too.
long time.
Even longer than it probably took me to say yes. Yeah, no, it was pretty quick. Yeah.
When I imagine, when you start having discussions about what the character is going to be like, and you find out obviously he's part Klingon, you're like, yep, that checks a box.
Mhm,
And,
mhm.
you find out that, some of what the progression through the season is like. As a Star Trek fan, are you just sort of inside getting all giddy, like, or are you trying to play it cool, like, oh, yeah, that sounds interesting.
No, I didn't play it cool at all. No, I didn't play it cool at all. I was completely like, I think I even like wept at some point. I no, I was unabashedly I didn't cover up any of my
That's
enthusiasm.
so awesome.
It was ridiculous. I mean, honestly, it's a genuine like wish fulfillment thing. It just doesn't. I mean, I've gotten to do all kinds of great things. I swear to God, this is. I don't need to. I mean, if this was it for me, I'd be like, I have achieved. What? How could
Yep.
I be better than this?
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Amazing.
It's like
It's
I
just
really, it's incredible because it's not just a childhood thing, which I loved it, but then growing up, I was an adult. I'm watching Deep
yeah.
Space. And
Right.
it's like, I'm having just as important a reaction to it as an adult as I did as a kid. You know what I mean? And you grow up with it, and it's like you change with it as it's changing. And so it's amazing.
So we're all about the same age. We've all had about the same orbits around the sun. So from what you're saying, you've been a fan since the original series, all growing up. And is that the case, or did it become more passionate when the TNG's, DS9's, Voyager's, Enterprise Legacy time started?
Well, I was really into it. I mean, my father watched it when it was first on in the
Hmm.
60s. And then so
Yep.
then we came around again into syndication in the early 70s. I was 7 or something like that. So
Yep.
it was him sitting me down to watch it again. And no, I was super into it when I was a kid. And but I was excited for it to come back. And I don't know that it was any more so. It was just this. I mean, I was incredibly excited they were bringing it back, but
Yeah.
which
And special thanks to your dad. Amazing person. Did great stuff for MLB back in the day. So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
I just realized recently that your dad was Bart. So yeah.
Thanks.
He's not that bright, Paul.
No, I'm very very
Yeah,
very dim-witted.
he's not that
Oh,
bright.
neither am I, guys. Neither. We're on the same page. We're all the same age. We're all decaying at the same rate.
Yeah,
That's
some of
right.
us quicker than others.
Really?
Thinking, yeah. I'll admit to it. I can do it.
Okay.
It's we're both diehard Red Sox fans and have been all our
Oh,
lives.
really?
So,
You guys
Yes.
from New England?
yeah,
Yes.
I'm originally from New Hampshire. I moved to North Carolina 2 years ago.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
I
And
did.
I'm from New Hampshire as well, and I live in Maine now.
Oh, where do you live in Maine, if I might ask?
I'm in Biddeford. I lived in Yarmouth for 15 years when I met my wife. Then we moved back down to New Hampshire, and now we're back up in Biddeford. Just moved about a month and a half or so ago.
Maine is great.
Do you know
And
the Maine? Do you know the state very
I have
well?
family from Maine. I have family from Scarborough. They live in
Oh,
Scarborough.
okay. Right up
That's
the
yeah,
street.
right. Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
Yeah,
they live in Scarborough now, but I have family from my father's mother's family is from Maine,
cool.
and like
Okay.
I have Maine stuff. And I'm from Connecticut, which is that really New England? And
It's New York.
Depends where.
it's it's the ass end of New England, and
Oh, then
so
yeah, it's the sixth largest borough of New York City.
oh, that's good. Never heard anybody say that.
Please feel free to use that.
I will. I sure will.
Yeah.
I sh-
Yeah, this is our shtick. I mean, we've been podcasting now for over 10 years together. And
Awesome.
we've known each other for 30, and it's
Awesome.
insults and New England talk. So if
Yes.
we ever drone on, just feel free to rein us back in.
Sure.
So, as a fan, I think, you talked about, sort of the whole fantasy of being in Star Trek. This kind of makes me think of a question. I think we've all, at various points of our fandom, wished we could be a particular character at one given time. So let's say we can time travel, Paul. Let's say we can take you back to the 90s and you get the opportunity to play a particular character on Deep Space Nine, a major character, for a
Okay.
day.
Uh-huh. Which one would I want
Who
to
would
be?
you want to be and why?
It's too obvious for me to say Gul Dukat now. I have to pick something more interesting. I mean, it gives that brings up a question of who do I like the most, maybe.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Or who do you like the least?
Garrick is a great character.
Garrick is.
But I kind of love Odo a lot. I don't know that I could have played Odo, but it's like I suppose maybe I would want to maybe do him. I would maybe want to play Odo. I don't know. The character is extraordinary. It's a really
Yeah.
beautiful. It really is like the emotional highs and lows that character goes through. And then, the actor, he was amazing, Rene Auberjonois. I mean,
Oh,
just
one of
amazing.
my favorites.
One
So
of my favorites. It's funny to go off on a small tangent. We talk about sometimes where were you when this happened or where when you when that happened. And I'll never forget this. Renee's passing is one of those moments in my life. Oldacot's my favorite villain. Odo is my favorite Star Trek character probably of all time. I've always said I would want to hang out with him just to make him be friends with me because he doesn't want to be friends with anybody.
that's
But
right.
I
Right.
was at Disney World in a store asking a person about a product that I wanted, and they were out back getting it for me when Bill texted me and said, "Dude, Renee passed away." And I had to leave the store and go sit on the bench, and I was crying in the middle of Main Street, USA, or whatever the street is at Hollywood Studios because of that. It's one of those things. Such a fantastic actor, and one of the things that I've. What's that, Paul?
I mean, one of those actors who really was kind of a genius. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Yeah.
quite understand how that guy did what he did. You know,
Hmm.
the makeup. I mean, somebody living through the makeup, and
Yeah.
his is just like, you know, I mean, it's just like this blunt mask. I mean, it's this featureless mask on his face, and that's the whole point. And it's
Right.
like, oh, he's just brilliant in that part. Everybody is on that show,
But
but
And
yes.
and he's the perfect example of what I said. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed that sometimes you're going to get out there on the convention circuit. One thing I've always told fans on the podcast is always go up and talk to the people that are your idols and that have done so much for the show. I never did that. I always saw Renee sitting over there doing his thing, and I didn't want to bother him because he was doing something or talking to someone else. And now I've lost that chance. So I've always told people that's what they're there for. They're there to meet us as fans, and make sure you go talk to your people.
no, and I look forward to doing some of these things so I can actually meet some of these
Yeah.
people. Like
Awesome.
go out of my mind if I got to meet Armin Shimmerman, and I mean, I would lose my, So it's like I hopefully I get to it. But you're right, you're very right about that.
So to follow up on your point, Deep Space Nine is perfectly cast all the way through. It is a collection of actors that I think is the greatest collection in that era of Trek. But
So,
I want to ask you specifically, do you get to see the finished product of the episodes for Starfleet Academy? And have you seen episode 5?
I haven't seen episode 5, no, and I'm
Okay.
looking for it. Yeah, I
I
have
don't
not
want to
seen.
ruin it for you.
No, I know what it involves, but
Okay.
I never got to read it either. So it's like, so I don't, I know vaguely. So don't tell me too much
Okay.
because
Okay.
I will tell you this because Dan said this to me when he saw it before I did. You are not prepared.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
sequester yourself, put your phone on silent,
yeah,
make sure you're not going to be interrupted for the hour. It's a
okay,
great exploration of the Sam character, but uh,
yes,
the
yes,
the rest of it, I think, will
Oh,
make your fanboy heart very, very
yes,
happy.
okay.
the hair on my arm is standing up right now just thinking about it, what
Yeah.
he's talking about. So yeah, it's really, really great.
So
Um, episode when we first met your character, Paul, one of the things that took place, which I thought was great, he's so eccentric and he's so wild-eyed and everything he does. You were having the or Braca was having the fight with Caleb, and he gets into a an escape pod,
mhm,
and he puts up his hand like in Star Trek 2. Was
mhm.
that you, or was that the writers, or was it a combination of both? Because that was
Well,
awesome.
I put my hand up there, and I think it was Alex Kurtzman said, "Oh, can you do that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a good idea." And the problem is, I couldn't do that because of those rings. So they had to
Oh,
actually tie my fingers together with filament, with kind of fishing wire, so I could
Oh,
do it. So I had to be sitting there with my hand like this and then go like that because I couldn't hold them because of the rings. So
yeah.
I'm glad it read because when I saw it, I thought, "Oh, is it reading as that, or does it look too kind of like mushy because of the rings?" But I'm glad it read. I'm glad it
Oh
read.
yeah. Oh, it
Good.
did. It's one of those things. There's so many great Easter eggs in this show and callbacks, which I love. I don't call it fan service. I think it's great to be able to pull the history of Star Trek into the show. So there's so many little nuanced things, and that's one of them. So I'm sitting there watching my wife, and you do that, and I just start cracking up.
I'm not smart enough to come up with that kind of thing. I'm not smart enough, definitely. So it's like somebody else, like I say, Alex Kurtzman came up with that. I'm not smart. But the great thing about this show is how much it's really kind of like the flavor of all of Star Trek passing through it, I think, is really nice. I mean, it's like
Yes.
there's just such a great nostalgia in it going on that doesn't necessarily hit things on the head even very much. It's like it's just a kind of I feel that, for fans, hopefully for longtime fans, you get this great feeling of like this somehow feels like baseline Star Trek to me, even
Right.
though not necessarily it is. It's really
And,
cool.
you
and I'm going to
know,
give credit to the writing team and the actors for that, because one of my criticisms that people who listen to the podcast know of Discovery was I was very upset when they jumped into the future because it was the way for the writers to not have to deal with canon. But here we are in Starfleet Academy, and the writers are doing a fantastic job with
Fun.
canon.
Lots of it.
yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, lots
So
of it,
yeah,
which is cool.
very
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I love the most about Starfleet Academy, and by the way, I see all kinds of old-timey fans on social media praising this series. Talking about how much they love it, how they're watching it with either their parents or their kids,
Yeah.
or a collection of all of them. I think this is what people need right now because
Yeah.
Academy is about hope for the future.
Yep.
Academy is about rising above and doing the right thing. And I think that that's what people are resonating with.
Yeah. Right. Hope and change. And yeah.
The
Yeah.
other thing I think resonates with people are, in particular, your scenes with Holly Hunter. There
Uh-huh.
is such an amazing dynamic between the two of you in
Yeah.
those scenes. Um, I'm guessing you've never worked with Holly before,
No.
but it is for those of us watching, who've been fans of both of you for a long time. I have to say, it is an absolute treat, Paul.
Great. That's
What's it
awesome.
like to be in a scene with somebody like Holly Hunter, who is her own energy source?
Yeah, she is around. That's a good way to put it. She really is. She's like her own, she generates unbelievable. She's got a real kind of animal quality to her in her
Yeah.
stuff, but she's very, very precise and controlled. She's a great actress. It's like she's one of those, it's a cliche to say, but she's one of those people you walk in and you are better acting with her. You're just on point more. She has in her contract, I think this is right. I remember her saying this, that she has to rehearse. And it's like, it doesn't happen a whole lot.
Oh, wow.
And she makes the space to rehearse. No, 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 not everybody loves to rehearse, but I think it's a good thing. and I like to, but I got used to not doing it. So, there's just a seriousness about it, but also she's incredibly playful. She's having a great time doing this. And I just thought, when they first told me it was her, I thought, oh my God, that's such a fucking great idea. Holly Hunter as a captain. I never would have thought of that. What a great idea. And then, she's 400 years old and she's this eccentric, like kind of crunchy hippie captain teacher. Like it's fantastic. And she's so inventive and she's just a wonderful person and you have a good time and she's in the spirit of it 1,000%, and she's loving it. She's having a great time. And
And
so
you like to sit on the sidelines of the sets, if I remember correctly, while other people are doing scenes, which is something that not a lot of people do. Is that
Well,
correct?
there's that. There's that. There's also, yes, there's that. But also, I think what you were talking about that she said, I do. I like to watch other people do their scenes, and she does that too. But the thing that she and I both discovered that we do that nobody I've ever met besides her ever does is we don't leave the set while they're setting up for the next thing. We actually go
Gotcha.
sit somewhere and stay there. We don't
Hmm.
leave the set. And I've rarely encountered anybody else who does that. And we both were kind of surprised that we were still sitting there. And we're kind of like, I don't know what it is. I like to be there while everybody's working and not walk away. And it keeps me in the mood or something, where I just enjoy the thing of guys moving the lights and the cameras and working. Like I like it. It feels inspiring too. This
As
this
as people who are not actors, it's very interesting to watch that. Bill and I got the opportunity to go to a set to watch episodes of a fan-made production done years ago, and it's really cool to watch what goes on behind the camera and in between scenes and everything like that. It's very cool, and to have someone with your star caliber back there watching these people do it is probably something that they very much appreciate as well, I would think.
it's like because I'm always interested in what they're doing. It's not boring
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, absolutely. My last question for you, Paul, basically kind of is in relation to what Bill just brought up. And that's in episode one when we first met your character. I felt sure, and maybe it's the fact that you have, or Brock has got this big time attraction for Nala. I mean, he's 6 to midnight all the time whenever she's around. But in episode six,
Glad you
you
get
give
it,
her
Matt, because that was a really important thing. And I don't know why. If you're going to ask me why, I'm not exactly sure why. She and I have talked about this, and she was like, I'm maybe a little turned on by him. And it's like, I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, there's a
it,
strange, erotic thing between the two of them. Yeah.
there is. And in episode six, it kind of shifted for me because you talk intensely about how much Braca hates her, and you actually said hating you made me better at my job, is what
Yeah.
you told the chancellor. So in as an actor in your head, how do you get that love-hate
That's
relationship
interesting. I'm
lined
really
up?
glad because I thought to myself when I said I hate you, I was thinking I love you. And it's like I think he has this weird need. I think he's jealous of all those kids having this like great thing that's supporting them and helping them. I think he envies them that. I think he wants her as a teacher and a mother and a lover I think he would love to have somebody caring for him in that way. I think he would like it. I saw that scene and there's some stuff they cut out and changed because it got even weirder at times where it was like I was kind of holding her in very weird ways. I mean, I think he wishes he had her in his life like the
Mhm.
kids have in his life. I mean, it sounds hokey, but you'll see by the end what I'm talking about. Because it's by the end you see like what's going on with the guy in some ways. So
Boy, we've
Amazing.
covered a lot of ground here today, from
yeah.
Thunderpants to Planet of the Apes to Dan dropping the phrase 6 to midnight. It's really quite a conversation.
This is really, really a good, rewarding time for me as well, gentlemen. It really was.
Well, I'll tell you what, Paul. I love what you do. I've loved your work for years, and having you on Star Trek now is just right up there. I am praying to the prophets in the wormhole that you will be in Vegas. Hopefully, something that's gonna come about and be in focus, especially with the big 60th this year. So, and if that's the case, I will be at your table, shaking your hand and thanking you again.
Yep.
Looking forward to whatever else comes your way. Um, again, thank you so much for being here to support this worthy cause.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's amazing to meet you, talk to you, and we wish you all the success in the world.
Thanks, guys. It was a real pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll be right back with more great Star Trek discussion, so please don't go anywhere. Dan, I think that's going to rank up there as one of the highlight conversations we've ever had in Trek Geeks. Only a half hour long or so, but man, that is probably one for the top 5 list.
Absolutely. So much information to unpack from what's going on, from what we discussed and what he had to share with us. And I can honestly say, I don't think there will ever be another time in my life where I am talking to someone as famous, as big a name, as gracious a person as Paul Giamatti, where I will never use the term 6 to midnight ever again. That's not going to happen. But it just seems so right for that discussion, didn't it?
It does. He's like, we covered a lot of ground,
Yeah, we certainly did. Yeah.
I-
It really is a shame that we're not going to be able to see his expertise, which is exactly what it is when he's in front of the camera. He is
Yeah.
an expert at his craft, and the way that he's able to bring dialogue across and really make you feel as if you are in the scene with him. It's going to be too bad that we don't see that, at least that we know of, for any foreseeable future in Star Trek. But I'm sure he's got some amazing projects coming that are going to be awesome, and he's going to be good in it because he's good in everything he's ever done.
Oh, that's it. I mean, he turns in a memorable performance regardless of what it is. I mean, the man's played John Adams. He's played a radio executive who had to deal with Howard Stern. He's played everything from comedy to severe drama to farce to a giant orangutan. He's proven his versatility as an actor, and it's just so great to have actors like him and Holly Hunter wanting to be part of Star Trek. After 60 years, it reinforces that, this is an important franchise that people still want to be a part of. It's not like it was in the early 70s, where it's like Star Trek, that cheesy show.
Yeah. And what's cool now about it is it's kind of the show that is the equivalent of what is it called? The 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, the separation, or something like that, where you can name an actor and you'll be able to get to when that person or someone very close to him was in Star Trek. That's kind of the way because Star Trek is so vast and so big and so many people have been on it. And so many people still want to be on it. So fingers crossed someday.
We can only hope that there's a time coming up soon where there's a lot more Star Trek. For the foreseeable future, we've got episodes that have already been shot for Strange New Worlds and for Starfleet Academy that have yet to roll out, but it looks like that future is in limbo, no pun intended, for the foreseeable future. So maybe, it's entirely possible that Paul could also turn up as a different character someday. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. Enjoy those episodes that have been filmed and are in post-production and ready to be released in the final seasons of the shows remaining, because that could be it for a bit.
Yeah, we'll have to have a big collective Irish wake.
Yes.
When the last episode of Starfleet Academy drops.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll conduct that online.
That might be a good idea.
And have a big party. So to reiterate, this has all been in support of the Hollywood Food Coalition through the Trek Talks Telethon that we co-produced along with Roddenberry Podcasts, Sci-Fi Sisters, and TrekMovie.com. You can still donate to Trek Talks right now. Even though the event happened last weekend, it's still possible to go to givebutter.com/TrekTalks5 and make your secure online donation to the Hollywood Food Coalition directly. You can also text Trek to 53555, or, if all else fails, Dan, you can always go out to trektalks.net and click that big red button that's on the page there.
Big red button. And also, don't just go there to donate. It's out there to watch. The entire 8-hour plus event is out there for you to watch on trektalks.net. Enjoy it. We had a fantastic day. It really was. It really is just so humbling to see people donate their time to be on the show, and even more so for the people in this incredibly difficult time that we live in financially for a lot of people to still donate the amounts that they did. Every dollar helps, whether it's $1, $5, $10. Every single dollar helps someone with food insecurity at Hollywood Food Coalition, and it's a great cause.
And small dollar donations are the vast majority of what gets
Yes.
made to most charities, including the Hollywood Food Coalition. It's, it's always great for us to receive a donation like $5,000 or $1,000 during the telethon. Those are a small percentage of what
Yes.
we raise.
Yep.
People donating, as Dan said, $1, $2, $5, $10, $20 is a huge, huge help to Hollywood Food Coalition.
Mhm.
And you know what? If you're watching this and you're not able to donate, believe us, we understand.
Right.
If you can help us out by sharing this with other people and talking about, the effort in which we're trying to help the Hollywood Food Coalition, I'm stumbling over my words here today. That also is a huge help, helping us get the word out. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And we hope that you'll all be around next year, Dan, for Trek Talk 6, if you
Trek
can
Talk
believe it.
6. That's the same amount of trophies that the Patriots have. We're really getting up there in number.
Yeah, in fact, maybe we should just have the Patriots host it
Oh, I like that idea. We'll have it at Gillette.
at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, against the Chicago Bears. No, not against the Bears.
No.
Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. For Dan, I'm Bill. We hope you all have a great rest of your day, and we hope you live long and prosper.
Coconut.
There we go.
You didn't think I was going to do it, did you?
No, I didn't. There's this dead air, because
Dramatic effect, baby.
Dead Air Davidson, as Mumphrey likes to call you. Anyway, so long.